Welcome, brothers and sisters. You know, I hope all of you men have your bug out bags ready, you know, because we living in a perilous time, man. We living in a time of mass deception, you know. I mean, you have to ask yourselves, would these people allow, you know, any situation such as this? Would they not see it for the opportunity that it is, and will they not take advantage? You know, do you actually think that they would would not take advantage of such unprecedented opportunity? But I wanted to talk about the so-called Corona pandemic, the Wuhan virus, the whatever you want to call it, COVID 19. You know, I want to take the time to talk about this because we gotta understand it for what it truly is, man. Unprecedented opportunity. I know it's a serious thing. You know, I know it's an extremely serious thing. But in a time like this, you have to think like a leader, man. When everyone else is panicking, the leaders are the ones who are preparing. They're preparing because everyone is going to be looking to the leaders in a time of crisis, you know, in a time of unparalleled, uh, you know, crisis. And this is one of those times. You've never seen a time like this. And although, I have a lot of things to do, I feel like, uh, I feel like, you have to see it for what it is. It's all about perception out here, man. The way I see this coronavirus, I was watching Donald Gump, the Orange Agent, Agent Orange. I was watching him on TV, and he's talking about this virus as if we're at war with the virus. And it made me ask a question. You know, he's talking about it like he said this the enemy, the enemy. He's calling the virus the enemy. The enemy to whom though? You know, you got to think about this virus, man. This virus is a very beautiful and intricate thing, man. I don't know how you see it, but it's a very beautiful thing and very intricate in its ways because it's calling on the brothers and it's calling on the sisters. It's calling you to do things differently. It's calling on every person in the world to do things differently. So, when you call it the enemy, you have to ask the enemy to what? The enemy to this way of life, to this civilization, to the way things have been done here for over 400 years. You have to ask yourself, the enemy to what? And it's calling on us to do things differently. It's calling on us to eat healthy, because we have to keep our metabolisms up. We have to eat healthier because 9 times out of 10, when you have a compromised immune system, you know, it's you're more than likely to be susceptible to this virus. It's calling on you to stop doing drugs. You know, you can't be doing drugs in a time like this, man. This virus is calling on you to do things different. It's calling on you to eat different. It's calling on you to live different. You know, it's calling, you know, it's calling on you to be in a constant state of readiness and preparedness. You know, as black men, you can't rely on other people to uh to determine your readiness, you know, to be that to be it's sort of like black men are sitting around twiddling their thumbs because they were unprepared. You know, most of them were unprepared for a situation such as this. You know, some of us have been preparing for such things for quite some time. I mean, even though we didn't know what form it would take, we knew that it was coming. You know, I see it in a very spiritual way. I see this virus in a very spiritual way. You know, what you can't go to the movies no more. You know, you can't uh be all out and about no more, going to the basketball games and the football games. I mean, I mean, what? You know, you can't be around people like that no more. See, I mean, take it from the I think black men are the most introverted group of people in this society. You know, so black men, should adjust to this pretty easy. You know, we're the most introverted group. You know, because black men are always wondering. You know, a black man could walk out the door and be accused of any random stupidity. You know, oh, black men could walk into a store and be followed around like he's about to steal something. You know, even though many of them are trying to steal something, but it's just not. It just forces you to, when you're the underdog, when you're considered the underdog in this society, then you tend to shy away from certain things. You tend to shy away from big crowds and all that. I mean, like some black men, they don't see it like that. They like to be out and about. They're extroverted. They like to, be partying it up, kicking it up, living it up. I mean, yeah, even when I was like 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, about 25, I still like to be out and about and, doing things, this and that, whatever. But, the more I learned about the sentiment towards so-called black men in this country, then, the more I wanted to have no parts in it, just minimal, just whatever I had to do, whatever I needed to do. If I needed to go to work or whatever, I go to work. If I need to come home, I mean, if it's go to the grocery store, I go to the grocery store. I never was into all of this extra stuff, like going to ball games. None of that really excited me because I worked in the the entertainment industry. Basically, you could say it's basically entertainment. I worked at a lot of these places where these concerts were going on, where these conventions were going on, where these trade shows were going on. That is the industry that I worked in. So that stuff was pretty much, it never meant anything to me because I would see famous people all the time. I would, you know, we would be setting up things for very wealthy people. I mean, it just didn't really mean anything. It just was like whatever, just another day. Like for some people that might have been exciting, but after a while the excitement wears off. You know, I was actually allowed to be standby at a lot of these events. Like you just, you're called you're what's called a standby. You standing by just in case they need something, just in case something happens or whatever, and they need you to take care of that. So you're considered a standby. But as I stated, man, this so-called COVID-19 thing, it's a very intricate and beautiful thing, man. Because it's causing people to live life in a brand new way. It's causing people to, you know, um, just be aware, be careful. This, social distancing. I think social distancing is a good thing because, you know, because like I said, when people are all around each other, that's when drama happens. That's where BS start happening. You notice this. I mean, there hasn't been a lot of BS going on. You know, excuse me. I mean, every time I turn on the news, I see less and less BS. I don't know what is going on in your neck of the woods, but there's a lot less BS because there's a lot of social distancing. There's a lot less strong, independent females out here running around like they the shiznit, which is a beautiful thing. People are, this CO virus, COVID-19 virus, as they call it, pandemic, is, causing a lot of, it's answering a lot of prayers at the same time, like, because I mean, ultimately, you want people to face reality. You don't want people to be around you that live in an alternate reality, an alternate state of reality. This is how our women have been living. They've been living in an altered state. Like, oh yeah, I'm just the shit, and I'm independent, and I don't need no man. All of this is an altered state of reality propped up by the system. And then when the system removes the linchpin of her independence, she she you see how independent she truly is. You know, you see how truly independent she claims to be. All of a sudden, now you got to prove yourself. You can't just sit around and talk about you this, talk about you that. Making false claims about your independence. Now you have to actually prove it. But this is the time period where men are supposed to be preparing. Soon as they talking about doling out these some type of checks for people like $1,000 or $1,200 or $2,000. I don't know what they talking about. Every other day is getting the number is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I mean, I guess this is the new political this is the new uh political environment we live in. The person who could give away the most money will be president. I mean, I don't know, but quit talking about it and bring it on. I mean, I'll be happy I'll be happy even if they give these single mothers more than they give everybody else. you know, because you already know that they're gonna just spend it up frivolously. I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna spend it on or who's gonna deliver it, but hey, I guess the Wall Street, was it the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal? I think it was the New York Times. Did an article about, talking about they don't think that they should just give out uh, this money to everyone. They think that they should only give it to uh, working class citizens. I mean, people who are working. People who are who earn less than, I don't know, 75 or 100,000, something like that. So they want to only give it to people in that in that range, and nothing for the single mother. But I would like to see. I just want to see the experiment. I want to see what happens when these single mother parasites get their hands on, because they're talking about between $1,000 and $2,000 per person, plus $500 per child. Plus $500. I mean, between 3 and 500 per child. So that means that the average single mother is going to be looking at, depending on how many kids she got, she's gonna be reaping greater rewards from that little stimulus package. But I want to see how many of them go back to strong independence as soon as they get this check. I just want to see. It's just a small experiment. I want to, because you see how they're acting right now. They're shook. But as soon as they get this check, man, as soon as the stimulus hit, they're gonna go right back to being strong, independent BAWs who don't need no man. I don't know, brothers, man. Anyway, as I stated, so you got to see this virus. You got to see this virus. They're calling it a virus, but you got to see this thing, this spiritual awakening that's going on. People are being called to actually, be more in tune with nature. You being called to grow your own food. You being told to be more self-sufficient. You being taught to, obtain the necessary skills so that, you can survive, basic survival skills. You're being called for a lot of things. And this is what this so-called virus, this so-called pandemic is doing to American society. And we have to ask ourselves, is this a good thing or is it a bad thing? Now, for those who like to just sit on the government tit, who have no practical skills other than running their mouths and a fat ass, and males out here who don't know how to build for shit, have no tools, just basically, I don't know what you're doing out there. Just basically just worthless males, don't know how to grow food. Just there's so many things that if you want to survive, you're being called to learn new skill sets. You're being called to eat differently. You're being called to think differently. You're actually being called to be independent. You're being called not to rely on other people. You have to rely on yourself. And this time, this is what this virus is causing in the world. And we have to ask ourselves, is this a good thing? Ultimately, we're being called to be in tune with the Most High. We're being called on a very spiritual level. We're being called by faith, or to have faith on a very high level. See, all of that talk is now, all of that talk that men had about faith, now they're actually being called to do it. You have to actually have faith. You know, you're going to actually have to have the spirit of the Most High on you in this day and time. You know, you're going to have His spirit. You're being called in many ways. So you're being called not to fear, because you understand that we were not given a spirit of fear. So if you possess such fear, if you possess such a spirit, you understand that that is not of the Most High. You're being called to understand. You being called to have the spirit of the Most High. You're being called to understand what the Most High has been trying to tell you for so long. You know, this is going to cause a chain reaction. You know, this is going to cause men to actually evolve to become those X-Men. You know, because you're going to have to raise your vibrations. You're going to have to watch the things that you put in your body. You're going to have to watch your health. You know, you're going to have to be aware of the people that you keep around you. You're going to have to be aware of the thoughts that you allow to enter into your mind and take hold. Those are seeds. You're going to have to be aware of the seeds that you're planting. You're going to have to be aware of where you plant your seed, or even put your penis in. You're going to have to be aware of all these things. There's a lot of things that we are being called for, you know? And I hope that you brothers have already mastered the 5 steps in the moral code. You know? If not, I might put out another video. Right now, if y'all want me to really put out these videos with the real true information, not the garbage that these other people are trying to tell you, got you living in fear. You know, but if you want the real information, y'all gotta have to support the channel, man. You know, I need I need that motivation. I mean, that's motivation for me to put out more videos. But ultimately, y'all have to understand that the things I say are not gonna change. It's gonna be what I say. Whatever comes up, whatever I feel spiritually led to say, you know. Not whatever I feel like saying, but whatever I feel spiritually led to say. It's not going to be skewed. It's not going to be based on, what the audience wants to hear. You know, a lot of times, when we start accepting donations, our content, becomes skewed, which is why I never actually put up a Patreon or a Cash App, anything like that. PayPal link, whatever. But now, in this time, I really want to put out these videos, but that stuff takes a lot of energy and it takes a lot of time to put out. And it costs money. It actually costs money to make these videos. It costs me money. It costs me money to make these videos. So, I just hope you brothers are aware of what's truly going on, and that you are in alignment with what's going on. Because you being called. You being called in many ways. You know in what way that you're being called. If you overweight, if you find yourself overweight, you being called to uh live differently, eat differently. Let's say you've been up until this point, you've been eating nothing but junk food up until this point, right? Nothing but junk food and just bad foods for you, just fast foods or whatever. Now, all of these fast food restaurants are now closed down, and you're like, you don't know how to cook, you don't know how to clean. I mean, that right there can cause you to get the virus. you know, just the fact that you don't know how to keep your house clean. Like, let's say, like chicken, like just handling chicken can make you sick. And you can't afford to have your immune system compromised right now. You can't afford to be getting sick. If you're the type of individual who's never ate, like never really liked fruits and vegetables, this time is going to be really hard for you. Because, I mean, a lot of these restaurants are shut down. You can't even, a lot of these restaurants are straight shutting down. They're like, forget it. I mean, we're not making enough money to even pay the light bill. So we got to shut this thing down. Some are still open for like deliveries only. And they're probably price gouging on the prices are probably going up due to the fact that people are taking extra risk. Then you got somebody else making your food for you, so you don't know if that person is clean or that person is sanitary, if that person is a fat nasty slob who does nothing. Now, who doesn't really want to be at work because, this virus thing is running around here. They don't really want to be there, so they're kind of weary. Just if they get a cold, and I mean, they they're out the picture. They're like, they're not letting them stay at work with no cold. Like, you could have the virus. So, in many ways, people are being called to live in a new way, to live a new life. And I hope that's a beautiful thing for some people, man. I hope that's a beautiful thing. I hope that you are in a state of preparedness, or that you are preparing because you understand that things will never be the same. We're not going backwards. We're not going back to how it used to be. That's why they need people. They need people to spend money now. They need people out there doing something. Because if people start getting used to being at home, cooking their own foods, enjoying their families, you know, that's a people, more people are gonna start doing that. Netflix. I mean, it's already the case in a lot of cases. That was already the case. But if people get used to this, they're not gonna go back. Like, people start growing their own food. You start growing your own food and you understand the beauty and the appreciation for that. You're not gonna want to go back to uh doing um going out the other way like you used to. You're not gonna want to do that. I mean, maybe every once in a while, like, yeah, go out, whatever, you know, but you're not gonna be doing that like you used to. Now, my suggestion for all of you, men, is to prepare. And the purpose of um you donating to this channel and supporting this channel is so that we can actually do something. See, that's why I don't make a lot of videos, because one, it takes a lot of time. It takes away time that I could be doing something else. I do care about the brothers. I do appreciate the brothers and everyone who listens to the videos and can appreciate it and can get something out of it. But Time is very valuable, man. Time is extremely valuable, especially mine. I don't know about other people. I'm not one of them dudes who sits around twiddling his thumbs. I literally work, 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 work. At least when, right now, this corona virus has put out a hit on the industry, on one of the industries that I was in. Not both. I mean, because I don't put all mine in one basket. But uh now I have to focus on one industry and doing what I have to do. So ultimately, you know, I would like to help brothers. I have the information that we all need. It's a very hard thing, man. It's a very hard thing because it takes disciplined people, man. It takes highly disciplined people. It should never get to a point like this to where men are now ready to open up their eyes and move forward. But unfortunately, we could never predict when something like this is going to happen. And it's unfortunate that we as so-called black men, we're relying on other people to do things for us. We're still at the mercy of others. When they gonna come up with the cure, when they gonna come up with the vaccine, when they gonna do this, when they gonna do that. We're at the mercy of these people still, like slaves. And it shouldn't be like that. So this time is also a wake-up call for so-called black men. This is your last chance. Black men and so-called black women. So-called black men and so-called black women. This is your last chance. This is your last chance. But the information is available, you know, and it's gonna take more than just someone telling you. You're gonna have to have people behind the scenes. I like to help transform this whole thing. You men are the terraformers of the new society. You know, you are the terraformers of the new society. You are being charged. You are being charged. If you feel that you are being charged to do, then, I will be happy to work with you. You know, I do appreciate good men, good people who who are disciplined. That's the only men I want to work with. I don't I'm not into working with like a bunch of talking individuals. That just doesn't sit well with me. I don't know why. That's called, I mean, because it's really feminine. Black men do talk too much in that. And they're not I mean, when they're talking, they're not talking about anything that's gonna actually help us move forward. I mean, we get an understanding, so that's good. But there's different levels to this. There's different levels. I mean, when you first come into this, you at one level, but then as time goes on, you supposed to be at a new level that is beyond that level. You supposed to be at the level of action, you know, actionable information and taking action. So we should never be in a situation like this. We should never be in a situation where we're at the mercy of others. And I hope that you brothers do understand. But anyway, I hope this video was not too long. On that note, I want to say peace. Hit the comment section. Let me know what you think Get on the 5 steps and adopt a moral code.